In this video, we're going to discuss which floor lasts longer, Neverlast or Everlast. If you're wondering what Neverlast floors are, pretty much they are the floors that don't last. Tell me more about those.
Pretty much the floors that don't last would be tile, sheet good floors, cementitious floors, epoxy, other epoxy floors.
All right, let's talk about tile.
Well, Corey tile is porous. The grout is porous. Grout gets washed out, food stuff gets stuck in the voids, stuff gets underneath, it deteriorates the mortar, tiles get loose. You put epoxy grout in tile, but the moisture gets trapped underneath, the tiles become loose. And not to mention it's hard to clean. I mean, look, this is just a sample and it's already getting dirty. We got stains on it just from making videos, and you can imagine if it's on your kitchen floor how bad it'll be.
Let's talk about sheet rubber next.
Well, one thing about sheet rubber, it's when you get all that water and that bacterial stuff underneath it, it sits under the floor, and you got these large sheets of floor. A lot of times, like a chef or somebody gets if you step too close to the crack, you can just push that stuff out. It's similar to, like, if you could imagine stepping on a ketchup packet and everything you just squeeze in there and you push it just right and it goes everywhere. And you can get it on your food. It's just a bad deal altogether. So Everlast floor is a thick floor. It's hand troweled on, it's resin rich, it's about 3/16 of an inch thick. Paint is just a few mils, it's just painted on. So you really just don't have anything here to work with. It can be very easily worn off and you have no floor.
In fact, paint is considered a maintenance item, so it's known that it have to be repaired or replaced every so many years or months if it's in a kitchen.
The reason paint doesn't work so well is that you can't just take 100% solid epoxy and paint it. It's too thick, it just doesn't work right for the installers, so you have to thin it down. People thin it down with water, they thin it down with thinners, and so that just doesn't leave them with that much floor.
Paint is approximately per layer, it's typically around 10 mils, and that's probably, if you're lucky, it could be 7 mils, 8 mils, 9 mils, 10 mils in one coat. So even if you had a 3-coat system, you're maybe looking at 30 mils. The Everlast by itself is about 160 mils, which translates out to about 1/8 of an inch. And if you went to 3/16 of an inch, obviously more than that.
I know we have something fun planned. You guys have an analogy with the cake coming up, right?
Oh, yeah, we were going to discuss these epoxy quartz floors. I'm going to show you exactly how they're made. And in order to do this, we've brought a cake. So I'm bringing this cake. I'm going to demonstrate to you how it is very similar to a lot of other epoxy floors. I'm going to set this cake down right here on an Everlast epoxy floor. And I'm going to show you how this cake resembles other types of epoxy floors, such as this one that is not an Everlast floor. This is more in the Neverlast category. This is what you usually get. So we tell people that a lot of quartz epoxy floors are very similar to a cake. And also, let's say if you're in a kitchen and you drop a knife or you drop a utensil on your floor, you could puncture this glaze layer, very thin glaze layer here. You puncture it and you get to the cake underneath. Now, of course, you spill water on the floor, sugars and fats and oils, and hot oils, things gets on the floor. It ends up getting through this glaze layer into the main body of the floor, which, as you can see, because it's dry, it's falling apart. See, that is the loose rocks mixed with epoxy that was troweled all over your floor first. It looks like you have a nice thick floor, but really there's just a little bit of epoxy resin and a bunch of like colored sand, colored quartz, and it's like a cake. It's porous. Water and stuff can travel in and out through it. The only place that you have really is a very thin glaze layer on the top. Once you break that glaze layer, you get down to the meat of the floor, which is the cake. Water and stuff gets through, it starts traveling all around, and next thing you know, your floor starts popping up in many places. That's why a lot of times you'll see lines in the floor, you'll see lines in the top, and the floor starts chipping out and eroding. That's because it isn't really like what it looks like up here, as you can see. It's just a glaze up here. It's ran down because this is a sample, but it's just a glaze right up here, but all in here it's just loose. Now, Everlast floor, on the other hand, which is this, the resin goes all the way through. It's poured in one system. These floors, like a cake, are done in multiple systems. But this is your whole floor is done in one system. We do a little glaze coat on top, and you have one full seamless floor with resin all the way through it. Over here, you just have some dry rocks with a little bit of paint on top. And that's why they don't last so good. Let me just see how this floor tastes. The floor tastes better than it looks. Well, that was fun trying to show about quartz epoxy floors. Why don't we show them about the sheet rubber floors now? I'll get a banana and we can show how the peels of the banana are like the sheet floor. Except for we don't have a banana.
Oh yeah, I would say we definitely know why floors fail. Hey guys, if you like this video and would like to learn more, we would love to send you a sample and answer any questions you might have. Just visit our website or be sure to give us a call.